Hey guys, we're going to take a look at Dead by Daylight's next upcoming killer, the Dredge, which has been released on the PTB. The Dredge will be released in next month's update. And basically this video will kind of talk about, how well will he be able to perform and what exactly can he do. Not necessarily what are his perks and things like that, but actually kind of just how can he be played and how powerful will he be in terms of the actual gameplay itself. So let's take a look. So what I have is 4 games that I played on the PTB, some of them better than others, but basically in these games I'm not using his perks, but rather I'm using other perks that are possibly more powerful than his perks. They're not the most powerful perks, but they are like relatively powerful. And and some of the survivors I went against, some of the games have better ones, some of them have worse. But let's take a look and let's see how can his power be used for looping, how can his power be used to move around the map quickly. So I'll commentate over the games as we look at them. So let's take a look at the first one. So here we are on the first game. The perks I will be using, I believe in all the games, are Corrupt Intervention, Barbecue and Chili, Jolt, and Scourge Hook Pain Resonance. And the add-ons I'm using is Hattie's Calendar and Broken Doll. One decreases the time to leave a locker by 1 second, and the other increases the duration of Nightfall by 20 seconds. So the Dredge's unique power, as you may already know if you've played it or read about it, is he can teleport throughout the map by using lockers, similar to Sadako with her TVs, although it's a little different. There's kind of more lockers, but there's not necessarily a locker near each generator, which is the case with Sadako. So some maps are better than others for the Dredge, which you will see in some of the games. Some of them have large areas with no lockers at all, while others have lockers distributed throughout the map. So that is one thing to keep in mind when playing the Dredge. And his chase ability is he places a remnant and can teleport back to it. However, while he has the remnant out, he cannot attack until he either cancels his power or teleports to a locker or the remnant. So here we are playing on the game. Just looking around for survivors. I believe this part does take me a little bit of time, but let's just see how we go. So there, that's the teleport locker technique. As you can see, this map actually has lockers pretty well distributed. So not that it really makes too much of a difference in terms of the strength of something itself, but this is the one of the Asian servers, the one hosted in Japan. I'm not entirely sure, but I do believe the meta in Asia is a little bit more stealthy than gen rushing. So that's why it's so hard to find people very often in Asia servers. It is interesting, though, how metas have possibly developed differently in different regions. But here we go, we finally find someone. So I placed the remnant there to try to cut them off, but I forgot that I had broken this door. So if that door was not broken, that should have been a guaranteed hit, most likely, I believe. And so this is what I tried to do here again. I placed the remnant there. I corner this side, and I teleport back, and I hit him. I had to look for him a little bit, but that's the general idea of how his technique can be used in chase. But be aware that it only works if you can corner them. If they have an exit, like the broken door, they can just run away. So here, I believe, yeah, I messed up here. I should not have gone this route. In fact, I don't really think my power would have guaranteed me a hit there anyway. But yeah, that was not probably the best thing for me to do. so here, I don't think there's really anything I can do with my power to chase him here. So yellow locker, as I'm teleporting, yellow means it's locked. And if it's locked, it takes you a little bit more time to get out. However, you can destroy locks by doing this and wanting them, or when you break out of a locked locker, the lock will also break. Each locker can only be locked once throughout the course of the entire match. So once again, a locked locker here. And it looks like, so if this locker was not locked, I probably could have just popped out and hit him immediately. Although I believe I still do get a hit here. There we go. So Nightfall has fallen. That is what the white aura is. During Nightfall, I can teleport to lockers much faster. And that's probably the main strength of Nightfall, really. But you're also undetectable during this time as well. So here, I want to pause here and point out. So here, this area has three... this area has like three kind of exits. And I place the remnant between the middle exit and I guess you could say the right side exit. And then I go to the left side to try to block him off, right? So that essentially covers all three exits. So it should, in theory, be a guaranteed hit. You know, if he takes the left exit, I cancel my power, hit him. If he takes the middle or the right exit, I then teleport to my remnant and hit him there. So let's take a look at how that goes. So he took the right exit, so I teleported and hit him. I almost think that the game, this particular map, might even... Oh, you can see I teleport and get an immediate hit. Also, due to Nightfall, I was able to teleport so fast. But I was saying, I think the game might actually be a pretty decent map for him just because there's a lot of corners that you can get a lot of value from his power in. Not every map has a lot of corners like that. And here we go once again. And the exact same area as last time. Remnant in the same spot, and you got the same hit in the same location as well. Oh yes, there I messed up. I believe I meant to teleport, but I messed up. There's some little strange things with the controls a little bit. You can see that I teleported back to the remnant, so it can even be used kind of to pseudo camp people. You can probably place it. So you cannot, if you did not notice, you cannot teleport to lockers that are near a hook. They are actually blocked off from teleporting, but you can place your remnant near the hook and teleport back to it from anywhere. But remember that survivors can destroy the remnant simply by touching it. So there we have Nightfall once again activating. An he gets benefits for hooking people. In fact, every time someone gets hooked, Nightfall gets more charges. However, that does not seem to be the case if it's currently active. And once again, immediate teleport into a hit. I had a little trouble there picking up. Regular chases. As you can see during Nightfall, anytime you use a locker, it gives you the little red thing. I forget what it's called, but the little red target on them. I think anyone who's next to a locker, it will show it. I don't even think it has to be the locker you're teleporting to. I think it's just next to any locker. You'll also notice that if the locker is locked, it immediately switches your camera into the direction of the door of the locker while it breaks it. If the locker is not locked, it actually does not switch your camera. So there we are, barbecue and chili with some good value here. And here we go, once again, popping right out of a locker into a hit. Barbecue and chili is probably going to be a pretty strong perk with this killer. So that sound means Nightfall is, I believe, 75% or something. It's coming very soon, and actually now it's just activated. And once again, that locker was even locked, and look at the value we still got. Although I suppose when survivors get more used to it, they'll probably be able to react faster. Also, I don't know why that person didn't drop the pallet. Probably should have done that. That would have been interesting to try to play around this with the remnants. Although I believe it should have been possible. That path only has 2 exits. So anything with only 2 exits, you should be able to play with the remnant and get a hit. Once again, pop out right into a hit. But you will see on other maps that I don't get anywhere near this much value. I think it might just be either this survivor team is not good at reacting, or this map is very powerful for his locker ability. So there's no locker up there, actually. This is the closest one. And since it locked me back into the camera view of the locker door, I'm not sure where those people were healing. So I kind of lost them. And once again, I don't actually get the hit. No, I do. So locker, pop out of the locker, right into another hit. And look at this. This is kind of luck, but I came here thinking he might be here, and he was. You can see there when the locker is not locked, the camera remains the same even as you exit the locker. So let's pause it there real quick and see that could he have avoided this hit. So let's rewind a little bit. Okay, and here I placed the remnant right at the top of the staircase, and he's going here to camp the pallet. Now, you know, I just did this and it worked, you know, I guess as a mind game, but this I think should probably not have worked, at least not as well as it did. In theory, what he could do is camp the pallet. If he just camps the pallet, then I have to go up to him to cancel my power and hit him. But as I cancel my power, he could drop the pallet and hit me, and then my hitting me would cancel my power. I would not be able to teleport, and he would be able to kind of get the normal escape from that particular pallet. Of course, if I tried to kind of, you know, stay away from him a bit to not actually get hit by the pallet, that would work, but it would, let's see, but it would, I guess that would be the way to do it. You would go up, but not close enough where he could hit you with the pallet. And then, but at that point, it would kind of be like a stalemate, because he could just literally sit at the pallet until you decide to cancel your power to attack him. But if you cancel your power, you can no longer teleport to the remnant. So it is kind of like this, you know, who's gonna go first type of thing. So this hit is probably not guaranteed, but it looks like I did get it. So let's continue the video now. And here I suck at chasing. So here, let's pause there. So I placed a remnant right kind of next to the pallet. I don't here, let me check actually, was it? So I placed, let me see where exactly I placed the remnant. So let's go back and look. Okay, so yeah, I placed the remnants just outside of the view of the pallet so that he could not see it, so he wouldn't know where it was. I suppose in this situation, if you were the survivor, what you would probably try to do is you would be always looking at the killer, seeing if he's, you know, placed his remnant, and then you want to know where it is. If you can't see where it is, you have to be very careful. So in this situation, he vaulted the pallet, and my remnant was just on the other side of the pallet, just out of view. I teleported immediately to it and got the hit. You know, he could have potentially just kept running instead of vaulting the pallet. If he saw I was using my power, if you don't know, the Dredge's power, while he is using it, he runs actually even slower than Nurse. So survivors actually, not only will he never catch a survivor, survivors will actually gain distance on him. So in this situation, if I was using my power, he could have just ran away, basically. He could have even continued the loop infinitely, but not really, because when he would have gotten to where my remnant is, I would have teleported. So perhaps running out of the loop in this situation would have been the correct decision for him. Similar to Artist, when Artist blocks different paths inside the loop, you just have to leave the loop. So in that sense, the Dredge's remnant power is in some ways similar to the Artist power, I believe. So let's continue. There's also currently a kind of a bug on PTB where it's difficult to actually choose the locker you teleport to. Sometimes it ends up choosing kind of janky, a little strange. So presumably that will be fixed for release though. So right there I missed. I actually meant to teleport to one of those lockers and instead missed and teleported to this one. matter because he escaped, but this is just PTB. So it served its purpose to learn how to use the killer a bit better. And that was the game there, a victory for the Dredge. As we can see here, some dead hards, you know, some strong perks, borrow time, iron will, but also some random perks, one person only even bringing one perk, so, you know, it is PTB, so. And here we go. That was the first match there. If you want to see the Dredge here, this is the Dredge from different angles. And that's it. Okay, so here we are loading into the second match. The perks and add-ons are all the same. So let's take a look at this game. Okay, so we've just loaded into Lambkin Lane, Haddonfield. The newer version of Haddonfield, recently released not too long ago. That's this map. You will notice that the center area here, in between the houses, has absolutely no lockers, which is a bit interesting for this killer. It kind of limits him. However, the houses have a massive amount of lockers. In fact, so many that it's actually difficult to choose which one to teleport to. But as you saw there, I'm trying to now learn how to use the remnant around these cards here. This person is kind of seems a little knowledgeable about how it works, I believe. So I'm placing it there and teleport here, and I got the hit. So it still works pretty well, although the correct move for the survivor to do there probably would have just been to run in the opposite direction. You know, especially if you see the Dredge place the remnant in a loop. Definitely don't run towards it because you're going to get hit. So I do think the survivor could have avoided that hit by just running away. So here I placed it a little far back just so I could teleport to it and kind of get here a little bit faster. Seemed to help a bit, but it is gambling a little bit. Thought I could have ran in the opposite direction and I would have gained nothing from that. That was pulled by the auto aim. So here we go, should get the hit here, but still almost missed it. Just barely got there. So she reacts quite fast to, you know, to placing the remnant and moving around. Yeah, I don't know. I think some people are just playing around. This is the test server, so kind of random stuff happening. Yeah, like, I don't know what this is. Maybe she thought I was going to teleport to the remnant, and so she was going to hide in a bush after I teleported. I'm not sure. So here's interesting, I try to play around this. I placed the remnant just behind the corner so she doesn't see it. And then I thought she was gonna like vault, so I teleported, but she just stayed in the exact same spot. And that's it. But I still get the hit anyway. So once again, center of the map, no lockers. The whole team healing right there, nothing I can do about it. So here, I don't know what's going on. One of those two people must be doing something strange. But once again, you know, we're just testing out the power, learning how it works, so it's not that big of a deal. So once again, there's another teleport right into a hit. So the longer the loop, I believe the worse the remnant power is. You can't really use it around those big window loops, but in a loop like this, you can. Just like that, pretty much. Once again, any area that has 2 exits, this little loop only has 2 exits. You can place the remnant at 1 exit and just go to the other and you get a hit. But during Nightfall, you can see the teleport, even across the entire map, is very fast. And the that red mark is also very useful during Nightfall. I'm just doing that to see where lockers are. I guess optimally you, I don't know, do it one time at the beginning of the match and memorize every location, but that's kind of, you know, a bit ridiculous, so. So this is, you know, the speed when it's not Nightfall. You can see it takes quite a bit of time to teleport. So there we go, the loop. You see, that's exactly what you should do. You place the remnant in the loop and you leave the loop. Because if she would have ran toward the remnant, I would have just hit her. That's ridiculous, right? So she left the loop, but in this situation, there was not really anywhere for her to go to, at least no strong loops anyway. So she just comes to this one, and see, I accidentally canceled the remnant. I probably should have kept it there. And then as she runs this way, I could have teleported and possibly hit her, but I get her anyway. So teleport immediately, not immediately to a hit, but to an immediate chase. There we go, I placed the remnant. This is kind of a long loop though. It probably wouldn't have worked well, and he leaves anyway. So this one's a bit smaller here, and this one gets him. So there we go. I swung a bit too early there, but that definitely should have been a hit. So I would say that would have been a successful use of the power. Although, once again, he maybe could have just left the loop. So once again, it doesn't get me into a hit, but it gets me a little bit closer. Got usage right there. Yeah, and that's I've seen this happen so many times. People don't know where the stairs are to the entrance of the houses. No lockers anywhere in the center of the map, so just, you know, a regular M1, you know, M1 killer chase. This. Yeah, I think there's nothing really more interesting in this game, so let's just end it here and get into the next game. Actually, there is one more example here of using the power. Just want to show you. So this loop here, I place the power at the pallet, and it just cancels the whole loop. He has to leave, and that gets me the hit there. So, you know, that's one thing you can do there with the power. And I think that's it for the game. So let's get to the next one. After reviewing the remaining 2 games, I don't believe there are too many points of interest in them. Just more similar uses to what we've already seen of the Dredge's power. So I've compiled basically just a short list, a short sequence of the clips where I am using the power, in some cases to success, in other cases to failure. I'm not going to be commentating over the clips, but as you watch them, just think about how can the survivor have escaped? How could he have avoided the hit? You know, that will help you determine the strength or weakness of the Dredge's power. And without further ado, here are the clips. All right, so thanks for checking out my video about the dredge. I hope you have a better understanding about how the dredge works. And I suppose he will have some differences when he goes to live production, as there usually are a few patches that BHVR likes to put in. So it will be interesting to see how powerful he is at launch. BHVR did already say that his Nightfall is bugged, that it is intended to be actually darker than it currently is. So that will, potentially be a buff for him. So that will be interesting to see. So hope you guys enjoyed the video, and until next time, see you later.